just imagine the kind of questions that Kenyans equally have. But looks like we are in agreement, I mean, both of you, so to speak, in the aspect of the 8% interest that it needs to come down, but also on the timelines and the time frame, 14 days for this particular product being launched today. Do you think this is something that also moving forward needs to be revised?
I think, Doreen, by all indication, the fund and the conditionalities must be refined. Yeah. Because look at it, Doreen, the way I look at it, I look at it this way. We are talking about the hustlers. When I'm talking about the hustlers, the person who comes into my mind is boda. The person who comes into my mind is mboga. The person who comes into my mind is mtu wa mkokoteni. And you are talking about charging 8% that person.
And this is your definition?
Yes, I'm just giving you the realities on the ground. Because whatever we are discussing, Doreen, we must look at our background. Who are these people we are targeting? I
mean, because also there was that question, how do you define a hustler? Who do you say is
my position today, Doreen, let me refer to a hustler, a boda man on the ground.
All right.
Let me refer to mtu wa mkokoteni. Let me refer to mboga. All these people who are actually on the ground. Because before we talk about the time frame, Doreen, we must look at what type of business are they actually undertaking? Is it a business that takes a day or two to sell or buy and sell? Is it a business that takes how many weeks? Because if you are talking about the 14 days, the loan to mature for the repayment, it is like you are just giving me by this hand and you are taking by the other hand. That means if I don't have time to pay for fear of penalties, that means as soon as I receive, I'll return you your money.
And it hasn't
and it doesn't help. So in this case, I think the framers of these policies actually must relook at the whole idea. And when they are actually relooking at the whole idea, they must also look at the background they are talking about. Who are these people they are targeting? Is it possible to do, in the practical world, is it possible to do the business with this money? This is something that we must look into. And the fund is very important, Doreen. And if the fund is targeted to benefit the very low of the lowest of our economy, and then the time frame and the interest rates and the policies must be reframed so that it will actually suit into their needs. Otherwise, it will be a political gimmick.
There were also issues of pegging this particular fund through appropriation by Parliament. And the primal question has been, has it really passed through Parliament, or is it just an act of regulation? And what is the space of Parliament in this particular fund?
I think this, Doreen, this thing has passed through a number of participation, and I believe, of course, that is not a big deal. If the government today want to do something...
You say it's not a big deal
what I'm saying, Doreen, the Parliament as it is constituted as of today, they can do that just like a lightning light, something like that. How many things have been passed within a short time? So long as it is not halted through the court proceed or court through or whatever, that thing will really pass through. I'm not fearing about whether it will go through through Parliament or not. What I'm fearing is the practicability of the whole project.
But honestly, Dr. Rotich, can you really appropriate, and this is something new we should say, and can you really just appropriate a new fund without the input of Parliament?
There is no way, Doreen. What I'm saying, if they want to do so, of course, they are launching today. The project has undergone, a lot of participations. We have had a participation being
they were traversing the country.
Yes. And then in this case, of course, out of this participation, of course, the Parliament will just endorse. Because this is something that it has passed through the process as per the Constitution. And of course, you must know, Doreen, that there are so many funds that have passed through the Parliament, the Act of Parliament. We have the CDF as it is. It is a product of the Parliamentary Act. So in this case, this one, I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about the whole process is the practicability of the procedures that have actually put in place. And then, of course, bearing in mind the people we are targeting on the ground. Not unless, Doreen, we are targeting people who are already established in business. If you are targeting somebody who is already running a business, the 14 days to pay the loan, is not a big deal. The loan plus the interest. I believe even if the loan has been, if the interest rate is as high as it is now, I'm also believing that the time frame to pay the same should have been more than 2 weeks. It should be 2 months and above, or even 6 months.